Alright, making them there. You know.
You see a few words today?
Sure, I love her. Oh, yeah. She talks about so remember the babies. I'm a morning runner. Oh, you're the morning runner.
You look a lot like your dad.
Where am I sitting? Next to you, you're not going to be in one of these big chairs? I'm not sitting. I can sit right behind you. One of the front big chairs. I'm not sitting. Or you can just sit back one. You could have Dad, me, and sit, and you three in the meeting can sit right back. Is that, what? I told Tiger that I don't really sit personally. I don't feel comfortable. There's not much space to do that. Sit right behind you or next to you and sit. Sam is here, I said. He just put his hand there. Yeah. I literally am. Oh my god. Actually, this is really crazy.
That Joe? Oh, okay.
Hi. Good to see you. This right here.
I secured the bag. What? What's up, homie? I prepared something. Would you like to read it? There's no sediment.
I think so. Yeah, you can go with that.
Environmental systems and societies. It's so liberal. It's just science. It's science about like pollution. Right now I am. Hell yeah. Hell yes I am. You know what I'm talking about? Hell yes I Hell yes I do. Oh my god. Same with Josh wearing the hoodie.
And then this is the way he's sitting right here.
Josh. Yo.
Okay, yours here. And this is Sam.
He's just lit like that. Oh!
Wait, no, it's pretty. Where is that?
Actually, I think it's like a giant, enormous cookie. This is gonna be me today. There's a ginormous cookie beneath your bed. Beneath. I was sweating. Yesterday it was like, yeah, but there wasn't any chairs, so it was just like more crowded, you know, with more people sitting. Oh, I'm so sorry. Right here. Where's yours? You're talking first. I mean, not first, but like first on us.
You could get up here and be like, pee pee. Not even Hey Josie Joe, what are you doing? What are you doing, Josie?
Joe. I'm Ian and Tiger.
What is that from?
Were you rizzing someone up?
So you just got no, I know. I just Sam, this is Sue. Just a family friend. Met like doing vending and like going to music fests and stuff. It's especially picking and agreeing. We went this year. Dean and I went. I know. That's right. Congratulations.
I was in Vermont.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. I was so
It was still different. I don't feel like it was still like with the whole shutdown and everything.
Yeah, I was talking to Robin Mayer, you probably know her. She has a lot to do with them. We played up at her gallery, and she was saying that
I didn't feel like it was totally working.
there's a lot of stuff with that whole power.
Yeah.
That was so weird. I've seen it my whole life. So many collabs. I mean, it's the same power stuff that we see everywhere.
Find somewhere to sit and stand or something. Think or you want to hang with Lil. Keep seeing them.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? First, I'll start by saying today is not an easy day. I am so glad to see so many faces here today and yesterday to remember and celebrate such a beautiful, vibrant, funny, creative woman, Rose Alexis Phillips. She's known by so many people, a sea of people that are different ages and stages of life, lots of diversity and different backgrounds. This is what human connection looks like. I imagine a world more like what I've witnessed in this room today and last night. Sisters and brothers, moms and dads, grandparents, daughters, sons, cousins, aunts and uncles, more family and friends. You're talking, you're smiling, you're crying, you're loving, you're hugging, you're embracing, you're comforting one another in a season where we all have to brush shoulders with this part of life. Sometimes we're in it for a short time, and sometimes we're in it for a while. It's grief. I was not fortunate enough to know Rose. I think I saw her a couple of times. I happened to be a kindergarten teacher at Wilder's School, Crestwood Elementary. I'm also a part-time pastor at a church in Cedar Springs. So when the funeral home called and the family needed someone to officiate today, I thought, wow, the stars really aligned on that one. I had the opportunity to talk with Doug last week for a few hours in their beautiful home. And wow, after talking to him, I would have loved to call Rose a friend. Rose is the mother of 4 beautiful masterpieces, and Rose was all in. She instilled a love of life and a make your mark on the world. In addition, Rose and her husband own a clothing company that is family owned and operated. It all started 20 years ago when Rose started sewing organic cloth diapers, diaper covers, and clothes for her young children at the time. She sold her creations at local markets, music festivals, and then eventually opened her own small business on Etsy, where her dream became a reality in 2006. This company designs and creates small batch apparel and accessories that are only ethically sourced. It's a company that cares about people just like she did. They care about their employees, which are family to her. It's mindful of the environment by protecting the Earth's resources and promoting awareness of how we can all be future-minded and protect the future that is big, beautiful, and green, this planet we call Earth. We're only giving one that I know of. Rose and this amazing company are combating a wasteful fashion culture that tosses clothes when they're stained, have holes, or out of trend. They practice the art of giving garments a longer lifespan. You might ask why I'm talking about this company. Lifespan, let's just think about that for a minute. Rose was only 46. It doesn't seem fair. It's not long enough. It feels like we all got robbed of many good things that were to come. Her children are here today saying goodbye to their mother. The youngest, Wilder, said it this way a few days ago. This is not how it's supposed to be. Sweet boy, it's not how it's supposed to be. Our bodies should not have to endure something so awful. One of my questions when I get to the end of life is why, and that may be on many of your hearts today. Why do really hard things have to happen? Why is sickness even a thing? Why doesn't treatment always work? Why do some of us have to endure such complicated and difficult journeys? I could pretend to be a pastor that could give you all the sentiments to try and make you feel better, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to give you some stretch of an answer to make the pain go away. People, I'm sorry, it's hard, and you have to feel it. I love the words by her friend Lexi that say this: as far as I can see, grief will truly never end. It may become softer over time, more gentle, and some days will feel sharp. But grief will last as love does, forever. It's simply the way the absence of your loved one manifests in your heart, a deep longing accompanied by the deepest love. Some days the fog may return, and then the next day it may recede once again. It's all an ebb and flow, a constant dance of sorrow and joy and pain and sweet love. At this time, I just want to read just part of the obit, which is customary to do at a service, but just part. These are just a few of the people that will feel her absence. Rose A. Phillips, age 46, passed away at her home, surrounded by her loving family after a battle with cancer on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. She was born on August 18th, 1976 in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the daughter to Thomas and Carol Dubridge. She is survived by her husband, Doug, her children, Wilder Phillips, Luna Leiter, Tiger Lily Van Acker, and Ian Van Acker. Her sisters, Rochelle, Dave Kell, Claire, Alex Winchester, Bridget, Brad Snyder, her parents, Thomas, Carol Dubridge, her father and mother-in-law, Greg, Marge Phillips, her brothers and sister-in-law, Gary, Chris Phillips, and Dan Renuka, I apologize if I missaid that, Phillips, along with several nieces, nephews, and extended relatives. Rose touched many lives and will always be remembered for her humor and creativity, a creativity that for over 20 years, along with her husband Doug, founded Conscientious Clothing, a sustainable apparel line that has been featured in the Grand Rapids Public Museum exhibits. At this time, I'd like to invite anyone who would like to give a word about Rose today.
There's so many people here, you guys. Thank you all for being here. I'm Rochelle. I am Rose's older sister. I am the only one in the world that gets to call her my younger sister. She was my first best friend. She was creative, smart, artistic, and absolutely hilarious. She was so sarcastic. You guys, if you're friends with her, you know this. She never missed an opportunity to laugh at or embarrass herself or anyone that happened to be in her general vicinity. She was always up for a good time and loved to cause a little mischief. My sisters and I obviously grew up together. Claire and Bridget took the brunt of Rose. I remember sometimes, and I'm pinning this on Rose because she's not here to defend herself, but I remember she would have Rose, I, and Claire would sit in the chairs in the living room, and we'd pick our feet up and we'd kick Bridget around like a ping pong ball. And and that was how it all started. There was a time that Rose stuffed Bridget full of pillows and made her ride her bike down the street. For some reason, we had this feather wig, and it looked like a chicken. And Rose made Claire put on the chicken wig and walk down the street clucking like a chicken. She was super quick-witted. Last year, we were planning my mom's 70th birthday party, and we were trying to decide, it was a girls' trip, and we were trying to decide how we would get Mom to where she needed to be. And Rose's response immediately, let's put a bag over her head and kidnap her from Aldi, because my mom loves Aldi. So that's not what we did, but that was her suggestion. For my dad's birthday a couple years ago, we were trying to figure out what we were going to get him for his birthday. And right, Rose's suggestion was, let's get him a parrot with matching sweaters so he has somebody to talk to. Because if you know my dad, he tends to mumble to himself. One of these same trips, we had a girls' trip, and we went up north, and we were wine tasting. And we were at one particular place, and they had the games out at the different tables, and we weren't getting very good service. The game that we happened to have was Scrabble at our table. So when we left, Rose spelled out shitty service and left that for the servers. So we always try to spend Thanksgiving together. It's kind of our family favorite holiday. Rose was a big fan of mashed potatoes. And she would, you guys, no joke, her almost entire plate was filled with mashed potatoes. Maybe not so much as she got older, but as a young kid. And every single year, she would show all of the kids at the table how to make French fries by pushing those mashed potatoes through her teeth. And so on a camping trip a few years back, actually there's several people here that will probably remember this. It was later in the evening at night, and there was weird noises out by the campsite. The chairs were all overturned, and stuff was missing from the tables, and Rose insisted that it was the Blair Witch the next day. But there is evidence somewhere, and I was hoping it was going to be in the slideshow, but it's not, of Rose sneaking around the campsite. So Rose worked tirelessly on her business over the last 20 years. She turned her love of art and design into a successful, sustainable clothing line and watched her dreams come to fruition. She always had a very positive outlook. Even during the last couple years, we rarely heard her complain. She definitely had her opinions, and she would not hold back showing you those. But she stood up for what she believed in, and she didn't care what anyone else thought of her. And she was unapologetically Rose. She fiercely loved her family and friends. She was an amazing mom. She was the first of the four of us to have kids, and I know that she taught me and all my sisters really how to up our mom game. So where I once had 3 sisters, I now only have 2, and it feels like a part of my heart and soul will never be the same. Doug, we are so grateful for you and the love and the caretaking that you've given her over the last couple of years. You've firmly cemented yourself in our hearts and as a part of our family. So thank you so much, and we love you. A book that I was reading last week had this in it, and I just thought it was really appropriate to end with. Families like your shadow on a sunny day. It's always there or just over your shoulder, following you in spirit, no matter where you are or what you were doing. Rose will always be in our hearts, and I hope she'll always be my shadow on a sunny day. Okay, I did it.
Okay.
Okay. So, my mom was a very good mom, but when she died, it was very heartbreaking for me. I had a very good time with her. She was very funny. she really liked me in many ways. I am almost as funny as her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when my mom died, I kissed her hand, and I also said in my head, I hope you have a good time in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't expect to hear that or or see all these wonderful people here, and I just want to thank all of you for coming out. And she was the love of my life, and it's just amazing how many lives she touched and the impact she had. And thank you all for being here.
Hi. I just have a little quickie here because Rose was always growing flowers no matter where she lived. And she created beautiful gardens, but her most beautiful garden is you. Thank you.
So obviously I've known Rose my entire life. And we grew up together, and for a while it was just me and her. And then as the years went on, Lily and Ian and Wilder came along, and I was able to watch her through her pregnancies and them being born, and she just loved them so much as soon as we all found out. And she just loved each of us tremendously. And her love was just so beautiful. And I remember when Mom and Doug first started dating, and she was just so happy, and she just loved him, and he loved her, and the family that they built and grew, was just built off of love for us and for each other. She loved our family. She loved Coconut. Our dog Coconut. Like, she loved the beach, and she loved going up north, and she loved Oregon, which is where our story together started. And we would always talk about going back there together so that she could show me where I was born. She was my best friend and my biggest supporter and the strongest woman and the most mischievous person. She was my biggest inspiration, and I'll miss her every day, and I just hope that we can continue to make her proud of us.
A year ago, for my 19th birthday, my mom gave me a poster with a quote on it that she loved, and it had a bunch of her little doodles around it. The poster has been hanging on my wall in my room, right across from my bed, since I got it, and I reread it very often. She knew I always struggled with the concept of time moving and growing up too quickly. And this quote often helps me calm down, and I think about it in this time. It just helps us get a different perspective. It reads, "We do not grow absolutely, chronologically. We grow sometimes in one dimension and not in another, unevenly. We grow partially. We are relative. We mature in one realm and we're childish in another. The past, present, and future mingle and pull us backwards and forwards or fix us in the present, and we are made up of layers, cells, and constellations."
My mother held every characteristic in which I try to uphold. She was creative, intelligent, funny, stylish, happy. Most of all, she was full of love for everyone in her life. There was a certain blissful happiness she held, especially while doing the things that she loved. She had a special kind of energy about her that would attract people to her, and if you knew her, you know this to be true. No words can give a holistic representation of who she was, so let me just say this. The sun shines through her every day, through her smile, through her laugh, and through her soul. The sun shines through each of us, just as it did with her. She was truly the light in everyone's lives, and I'm grateful to have known Rose as my mom.
There will be time after this at Hydrangea Blue to share some more memories about Rose, but let's just conclude by saying this. I feel like grief is exactly what her friend and writer said. It's an ebb and flow, a constant dance of sorrow and joy. The sorrow is that Rose is no longer with us physically. With her infectious laugh, her ability to draw people in, it will feel difficult that Rose will not be here for some of the milestones of her children. But there will also be joy. There's joy that Rose graced us with her presence, her beautiful spirit, her spitfire personality, her love and care for the people and the world around her. As her kids mentioned, Rose did love the beach. She also loved a really good sunset and all of its authentic colors. So think of her, and think of her often. Think of her when you dip your toes into the water and feel the sand beneath your feet. Or maybe when you gaze at that magical sunset, think of our Rose. As you do this dance of grief, you may trip over your own feet from time to time. You may need to ask someone to help you dance the rhythm. You may not know the next step, and you may have never heard the tune before. I make this reference because I know that Rose and Doug both loved music. But just like Rose, look for opportunities to love, connect, teach, listen, promote awareness, comfort, lead, protect, laugh, be silly, take risks, be spontaneous, include other people, fight oppression, make something beautiful, fall down, get back up, and start again. be resilient, leave a legacy. That is exactly what Rose did and will continue to do just with her presence of her spirit. She's not here where we can touch her anymore. For that, my fellow brothers and sisters, I'm sorry. But she will forever be in our hearts and our minds. That concludes this portion of the service for today. You can gather at, again, Hydrangea Blue Farms for more remembering and celebrating her life. Thank you.